The information supplied on this program does not consider your personal circumstances and is general advice only. You should not act on any recommendation without considering your personal needs, circumstances and objectives. Retire Invest recommends you obtain professional financial advice specific to your circumstances. Jeff English is an authorised representative of RI Advice Group Proprietary Limited.
22 to 1 now, Jeff. We've got less than a month to go until these changes to Centrelink payments come in. So I thought, good idea today to quickly go through them again, just to remind people in case they are affected by them.
Agreed, Graham. And, been a couple of years in the making. So not last budget, the previous budget, the government came out and said that they were winding back the 2007, I believe, reforms where the assets test was made a lot more concessional, and they decreased what they call the taper rate, which is the rate that you lose your pension at as your assets increase.
Okay.
So this applies to age pensioners, disability support pensioners and Department of Veteran Affairs pensioners. So it's fairly wide-ranging. It's not just about retirees.
Okay. What is not going to be counted?
Graham, basically your standard exclusions from the assets test, things like your principal place of residence. Doesn't matter what that value is, generally up to 2 hectares or 5 acres of land around it. Funeral bonds and prepaid funeral plans at the moment up to $12,500 for an individual are exempt. Aids for people with a disability. Importantly, superannuation that's not in drawdown phase. So it's, say, for example, in the name of a spouse who's underage pension age, not counted. Some income streams like annuities, depending on how long you've owned them for. Not exhaustive, but that's pretty much it.
All right. And so just go through those things that are counted, though.
Everything else.
Everything else.
Pretty close.
So any real estate?
Real estate, so if you own an investment property, if you've got superannuation and you're over age pension age, if you've got money in an allocated pension, bank accounts, managed funds, shares, the contents of your home, your car, any caravans, anything pretty much like that, insurance policies. About the only thing, a bit of gifting is something that you can do to reduce assets as well, but subject to certain limits as well. So got to be careful there giving money away. All
right. So your advice as far as, and there is you can do an asset test, can't you?
Oh, well, basically what you need to be doing is, and what we are seeing, of course, is positively a lift in how much you can have before you start to be affected. So, for example, if you own a home and you're single, at the moment you can have $209,000 before you start to lose pension based on your assets. You'll be able to have $250 from the 1st of January, up to $542.5 before you get nothing. As a home-owning couple, currently just under $300,000, going to $375,000, and the upper threshold $816,000. Now that comes down over $300,000 from the current upper threshold, so it's fairly significant. So the pretty important now to start looking at, are my assets valued at the right value? Okay, so we see people come in and say, oh yes, I've got $50,000 worth of contents. For Centrelink purposes, they're probably worth 5 to 10 cash value. So you can use that sort of market value. Have a chat to the local car salesman and say, what would you give me for my car? Or check Red Book or things like that. Don't overvalue assets. Consider maybe renovating the home if that was going to happen at some stage. Maybe look at bringing it forward. That'll positively impact your cash levels. If you're travelling, maybe look at prepaying that. Just things like that you could look at. Gifting to the family, funeral bonds, and just your overall financial strategy is pretty important.
All right. If you'd like some financial advice in relation to some of these changes, I would suggest you get in contact with the team at Retire Invest. Give them a call on 46393733, 46393733, and make an appointment. Thank you, Jeff, for coming in and letting us know. It's now 18 to 1.